Okay. I just want to say first and foremost that I realize that this probably is not going to get much attention or really go anywhere, but if I do decide to post this, if it's not too dumb after rewatching it, if I do decide to post this, I hope that it comes across your path because you needed it to. And it might not get much attention, but if somebody's watching this and it makes somebody feel like, oh, like validated, then that's why it's here. And you were meant to see it. If you're watching it and you watch the whole thing, you're meant to see it, is what I believe. And that's why it's out there, if it's out there. But anyway, I just wanted to make this response to what I've been seeing on Twitter a lot recently, where people just seem to be vocalizing how they don't feel like themselves anymore. They feel like they've lost their energy or their groove or their spunk or something like that. And I wanted to just like vocalize how I think a lot of us can relate to that. I think at this point in our life, going in our early 20s, late teens, early 20s, going through this transition from adolescence into young adulthood or even into adulthood, there's a lot of change that happens. There's a lot that you experience that nobody seems to told you about. There's a lot of things that we were stressed out about graduating high school, going into college, and people tried to prepare you for X, Y, and Z, but there was a lot of emotional stuff that I think that we all went through for the first time that nobody prepared us for. We hadn't heard about. At least for me personally, I was completely blindsided by the things that made me feel like I lost my groove. Like I experienced heartbreak in ways that I didn't even know existed. And there's some stuff that you just won't know until you go through it. And I think at this point in our life, we're all kind of realizing something in life for the first time that we weren't even told about. And it makes you feel, it took the wind out of your sails a little bit. It made you feel like I'm not as strong as I used to be, or I'm not who I used to be, or I'm not as happy as I once was, or I don't look at life the same, or, I've lost that spunk that everybody told me I was going to lose, which I've heard that growing up. Like, every person in my life at one point or another has told me that life isn't as magical as I thought it was, and I should just wait until it catches up to me, or I'll go through something and I'll realize that the world isn't as good of a place as I thought it was. But I still don't think that's the case. I've been through some stuff since then, and I would have reason to not be able to trust or love people, the same after going through it. But regardless of the heartbreak that I have experienced that took the wind out of my sails, I feel like, I don't know, something that helped me get through it was the thought of, and the feeling of heartbreak. You only experience that when you had something that was good in the first place, or something that was worth maybe not even good. Sometimes there are toxic things, but in my personal experience, I only had that heartbreak because I had something that was special to me, and something that was somebody that I trusted, and something that was good, and I thought that I needed it. And whatever you're going through, whatever you're whatever you're heartbroken over, whether it be a relationship with a person, a romantic relationship, or a friendship, or a mentor, or somebody in your family that might have shut you out, or any kind of misplacement or misjudgment in trust in a person, those are the types of things that make people think the world is a bad place, because they got hurt by something they didn't think was ever going to hurt them. And as much as it hurts to be heartbroken and misplace your trust in somebody, all of those experiences were put in front of you to make you grow as a person. When it strips you down to your core and you feel like you lost something that you never thought you could live without, that's just proof that you can live without it. And I'm not going to sit here and get all religious and preach on everybody, but I just recently had a very religious awakening, or I would say spiritual awakening. I've always been kind of like right here. I've been like, yeah, it's cool. You never know what's out there. But more so recently, I feel like God was like, listen, okay. And I was like, oh, you're right. Okay, my bad. And it really helped me get it together. I was like, dang, I grew as the areas that I would not have been able to mature or grow myself were presented to me by situations and by people where it's hard to explain, but the areas that you grow the most as a person are areas that you won't be able to fix on your own. Areas that strip you down to your core when you lose them, regardless of the situation or the person or whatever it is that made you feel that way. on the other side of it, you grew. You got yourself out of it. And I know that there are probably times where you feel so alone and you feel like nobody in the world feels this way or is going through anything like this or can help you or cares about you enough to listen or pick up your broken pieces, and you might feel like you've always been the one to do that, or whatever, and that's why you feel like you're losing yourself, because you were stripped down to your core. But that does not mean that when you put all the pieces back together, however long that may take, there's no process your emotions, feel what you feel, however long you need to feel them, and feel them in whole. Okay, anyway, when you put those things back together, on the other side, you are a stronger version of yourself than what was broken down beforehand. And I'm just now appreciating that after a struggle, after way too long of a struggle. It took me probably from start to finish, it took me a year to really see everything and appreciate it and put myself back together. And there are still some times where I'm there are still some times where I'm a little bitch over it, but for the most part, I feel grounded, and I just want people to know that anything you're feeling is valid, and I know that it hurts unimaginably so to feel like you've lost yourself, or that you aren't the same, or that you lost your happiness or your love for life, but that comes back if you want it to. That's not something that is gone forever. It's all about your mindset and the way that you approach things and the way that you deal with things and process things. And if you really let yourself grow from your heartbreak, you will love life again. But if you decide to sulk on that hurt and that pain and that misery and the fact that this, that, or the other did you wrong, then you will lose a little bit of your taste for life, because you'll just start to think that everyone's out to get you, or that nobody's there for you, or that you've been through hurt in ways that you didn't deserve. And that might be true, but it's your choice if you decide to grow from it or not. And I think that we're all capable of it. And I think that's it. I just realized that I just passed 7 minutes in recording, and at this point I don't think it'll be able to be posted anywhere because it's so long. But hopefully, if this came across your path, something of what I said in here you felt connected to, or you felt validation in. And the only reason why I'm making this is so that other people that feel this way know that it's not just them. And it's a part of this weird transition in adulthood where you are experiencing life for the first time. You're getting a taste of what this bitterness that all these adults have told you your whole life, you're getting a taste of where that comes from. But it's up to you. This is an early enough point where you've experienced heartbreak once or twice in a couple different areas, and you have reason to believe that life could be this way, but you are ultimately in control of how you go about life. And once you've grown as a person from the things that hurt you, the next step in your life, that new chapter, that new person, that new skin that you have on, the next time you fall in love with a person, regardless of your relationship or that connection you have or that next job that you have, whatever your new experience is, whatever that new skin that you're in, will be better than the first time. And it's not going to hurt as much the second time around or the third time around. And you might continue to get heartbroken a couple times, but at the end of it all, you'll have gone through it enough times that once you find it for real, it's not going to hurt anymore. If you allow yourself to trust again and go through, be vulnerable again, which I know is hard. I know it's hard because that heartbreak is the worst thing, and, I couldn't even imagine going through it 6 or 7 more times. But however many times it takes you to get there, if you continue to allow yourself to be vulnerable, all it takes is one time for somebody to treat you right, or not even treat you right, above and beyond, but just not mistreat you. Once it works out the way that it works out, you'll realize how good it is, and it's not going to hurt you anymore. It's going to be worth everything. You'll have learned so much that you're so good on your own. Whatever you do, if it's a relationship that you're into, or a job that you found, or mending things with your family, or whatever the situation is, once you've grown as much as you can and it finally fits, it's finally going to fit and it's going to be good. This is the first step of life that we're going into. The first things that we're experiencing on our own that nobody told you about. And I know that that's hard to realize, and there's going to be a couple more things. The next couple years are probably going to really suck, but within the next 5 to 10 years or so, you'll have so much life experience, and if you tailor it the right way and you let yourself grow in the areas that you were supposed to grow in and not hold on to how much it hurts, if you allow yourself to process the pain the way that you need to grow in the way that you were meant to grow from that situation, then you will be the best version of yourself. The version that still loves life despite everything and is happy with the people and the choices they've made around them. And life can be so good, I promise. I promise. I know that to be true. I can feel it, and I just wanted to hopefully send some positivity or some validation towards somebody who may need it, and that you are not alone. And I'm not saying that to be cheesy, but I mean, when I say you're not alone, I mean in your heartbreak, in your feelings, in the way that you might have a distaste for the world right now. And it's stressful, and I know that, but I just want you to know that you are not by yourself. We have all been there, and you have the strength to get on the other side of it as a better version of yourself that you will love and the world will love. And I'm hopefully, if you made it through all 15 minutes of this, that it helps you at all, and maybe send it to somebody who you think might need to hear it. Or if this goes completely unnoticed and I just look dumb, that's fine too, but if it helps at least one person, that's what I am going for. So that's that. I've never really done one of these. I don't know how to wrap one of these up, so I'm just gonna hit end. But thank you for listening.